Hello everyone. There are certain people that stand out among the crowd because they don't act like everyone else. Surely, even among your friends and acquaintances, there is an eccentric person who acts and behaves in a different way, right? If so, then you can show them this video right now. As a rule, big groups don't like these people and often laugh at them, but experience has proven that weird people are ultimately right, and others yielding to the herd instinct simply rejected them. In today's video, we'll tell you how being different from others is sometimes very useful. Let's get it on. Unfortunately, humans cannot stop or tame nature as they do with cats or dogs. One of the most destructive natural phenomena is flooding, even if the water level is relatively low. Surely you've seen on the internet videos about the consequences people face after flooding. However, when there was an announcement on the radio and television about a possible flood in a city in Texas, most people didn't pay much attention to this warning. However, this man, Randy Wagner, was seriously concerned. He began to ponder how he could save his property from the destructive power of the water. While his neighbors didn't believe they could be flooded, Randy worried about his house and land and calculated what losses he would incur in the event of flooding. The man had carefully studied all possible consequences and eventually came up with a great idea: making a dam. One day he saw a system of plastic tubes on the internet and decided to buy it. He purchased almost 200 meters of tubes and paid about $8,300 for them. After the man brought them home, the neighbors found him simply crazy. They laughed at him because he gave so much money for such an incomprehensible thing. Randy himself decided not to pay attention to the neighbors' jokes. He arranged a long pipe around his property, filled it with water, and built a homemade dam. And of course, people looked at him pretty weirdly. Then there were rumors about a weirdo named Randy who was pouring water into what looked like a huge garbage bag, and surrounding his house was some kind of huge black plastic sausage. People took pictures of the self-made dam, put them online and laughed at the man, but he paid no attention to it. The owner of the house was pleased with his purchase because he knew that the dam could adapt and protect his territory from flooding inside the fenced perimeter. And to top it off, Randy fortified the dam with sandbags to ensure that his home was protected from flooding. In just a few days, the water, as expected, began to rise, and people were not in a joking mood anymore. And Randy wasn't a crazy and strange person anymore, and the money he paid for the dam turned out to be very well spent. After a couple of days, the whole area was under 70 centimeters of water. Even though the water level was not that big, the rescuers had to evacuate all people, except for the residents of one house, who simply didn't need help. Randy Wagner's land, protected by the dam, remained completely dry. And when the water went down and people could see the horrible consequences the flood had had on their houses and land, our hero just packed his plastic construction and put it in the garage until better times. After that, most neighbors began to apologize for their words and jokes. In addition, many of them asked Randy about the best way to fortify their houses if there was to be a flood again. Of course, the man described everything he'd done, but at that moment he realized that it was his turn to laugh. Wagner spent $8,300 on plastic tubes, and thus saved himself $150,000 in reparations, which was the money their neighbors had to pay. You know, it's always better to be different and buy some strange thing than to spend large sums for repairing houses, pumping water from the basements, and cleaning up all the garbage and silt from the backyard. By the way, a similar situation happened to another person. As it happens, a significant part of the world's population lives in regions where cold weather is not a rare thing, but a rather common condition. Therefore, people living there have to take some measures if they want to stay warm. For someone, a warm blanket and a hot cocoa are the best way to keep warm. For others, the best option is woolen socks and a fireplace. But Stockholm residents Charles Sacilotto and Marie Grammer approached this issue in a radical and quite unusual way. What you see now is not a fairy tale house, it actually exists, and as you probably guessed, Charles and Marie put this idea into practice. By the way, at first the neighbors absolutely couldn't understand their idea. Many of them were surprised. How is this possible? Instead of spending money on local heating, these weirdos decided to build a greenhouse. But Charles and Marie didn't pay attention to any remarks or jokes, but kept working on their dream house. The task wasn't easy, but they asked architect Bengt Warner for his help. His idea was to place the whole building under a protective dome. What a simple life hack, just a giant greenhouse with walls made of durable glass. And now imagine this, it's terribly cold outside, a snowstorm is raging, a strong wind is blowing. You leave the house and get, no, not in the arms of the Snow Queen who's trying to freeze you, but in a real tropical paradise where figs and peaches grow, the roses are fragrant, the tomatoes and the grapes ripen, and all this in the midst of winter. Isn't it a miracle? The thing is that together with the architect, Charles Sacalotto and Marie Grammer have developed a special system inside, and the air temperature falls below 20 degrees Celsius. Under the dome, you can't live without warm fur slippers, but also grow heat-loving vegetables and fruits. The neighbors were perplexed by the strange construction and laughed at the couple. Meanwhile, Charles and Marie had their own garden within walking distance, as well as an open terrace protected from wind and rain. Of course, during especially severe Scandinavian winters, they still had to heat the house, but the rest of the year they lived just fine. Initially, the area of the building was 150 square meters, but when the glass shell appeared around it, the area of the house increased to 300 square meters. It turned into a whole greenhouse and even got its name, Nahus. In addition to all the plants, there's also a spacious living room, a patio with a swimming pool, a barbecue zone, a sauna, and a large playground for children. When the neighbors became interested in how this weird house worked, they were very surprised. Plants are watered automatically. The water comes from the kitchen, bathroom, and laundry from 2 large tanks located in the basement. Down there, the liquid undergoes a special purification process. Another feature of the incredible Nauhus is that, thanks to the glass shell and plants inside, energy consumption is reduced by half. Designer greenhouses are a kind of insulating layer, which allows them to save on heating. In addition, the transparent glass coat protects the residential house from atmospheric influences and the ultraviolet rays.
Wow!
Seeing what qualities this house possesses, how cozy and, most importantly, warm it is, the neighbors never laughed at Charles and Marie again, but only asked how much time and money they spent on this miracle. But this is not all, because we found another curious story that we wanted to share with you. A married couple from Canada, Catherine King and Wayne Adams, have been dreaming about a good life for many years. They both have creative professions. Catherine's a dancer and Wayne is interested in sculptural painting. Each of them believe that these were their lifetime projects that will necessarily bring income. However, their earnings were minimal. Despite their great persistence, they were never able to acquire their own house. But the couple didn't despair, and one day a rather unusual idea occurred to them. Catherine and Wayne decided that if they can't buy their own house, then they'll just build one themselves. They moved out of town and built their home for several years. The result was not just a house, but a real palace. A lot of people laughed at the location and the material used, but the fact is that this couple's lodging is located directly on the water, and most of the interior items are made from unnecessary things that people throw away. But Catherine and Wayne not only got a house, but also a dance studio and 4 greenhouses, with vegetables all year round. When Wayne has free time, he fishes around the house, and if he feels too lazy to leave the house, he can fish straight from the couch. There's a special hatch on the floor. There's also electricity here, as the floating palace is equipped with solar panels. The owners receive fresh water from the nearest waterfall. The basis for the house consists of 12 platforms, and Wayne built all this by himself. Cables stretch from the shore keep the dwelling in place. People often told them that they were insane, and sooner or later they begin to live like normal people. But Catherine and Wayne are happy living in these conditions. The couple provides themselves and other people with vegetables and fruits from their own greenhouse. They sell them at the local market together with Wayne's works. In addition, from June to September, the family takes guests on their marvelous island who want to swim by boat and relax in silence. They haven't turned it into a business yet, but they can always start if they need money. By the way, all those who told them that this idea is strange and rather insane also like to come here and enjoy nature and the calm ambience. So, friends, if you really want something, don't listen to others and do whatever you think is needed. If you know similar stories, write them in the comments, and don't forget to give us a like. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.
Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.